So it's very key and very important that you understand that we have to really look at the label and keep reading. Read everywhere. Read everywhere now, not just the label. And the labels, the food labels with like one serving is equivalent to this many calories and stuff like that. Those labels were for scientists, not for the regular human, regular consumer. Those are scientist stuff. People don't even know what that even means anyway when they look at it. They just say, oh, one serving is 90 calories. Okay, that's about all they know. And then when they read the ingredients, they see what's in there, but they can't even pronounce what it is. I used to take people to the grocery store. And some of my lectures and stuff that I would have as a series of health stuff, I'd take them to the grocery store. And lately, when I take them, I start filming on Facebook Live, and every time I get caught. So anyway, I tell people, I say, look, let's go up and down the aisle and see how many things that are actually good for us to eat. And I'll have some people say, wow, did you see that? We went up and down 2 aisles, and Dr. Julie never stopped for nothing. And then some people say, what about this, Dr. Julie? What about this? And I'll be, no, that's not good either. That's not good either. And so when we read the ingredients, I usually tell people, if you can't pronounce it, keep it on the shelf. If you don't know what it is, keep it on the shelf. That's a good way to do it, because that way you are making sure that your body is a living testimony for God. It's a sanctuary for God, right? And so it's very important that we do that, because our food needs to give us energy and feed those cells, because our cells are the ones that give us the energy, right? So metabolic disorder is when food is digested, glucose makes the way to the bloodstream, because it's an overflow of that glucose and it gets into the blood, right? And the cells use glucose for energy and growth. However, glucose cannot enter the cells without insulin being present. So if that insulin can't get in, that means that those cells are not going to be able to do what they need to do in order to give you energy. So insulin is a hormone produced by the pancreas, and the pancreas releases insulin. And when you eat to move glucose into the blood, it goes into the cells. And when this happens, the blood glucose levels drop, because now the insulin is actually getting into the cells. So what about hyperglycemia? Well, this is the quantity of glucose in the blood is too elevated, due to either it does not produce enough insulin or produces too much, and the cells do not respond properly. So the result here is that it has too much glucose that is getting into the blood, or into the urine, too much glucose in the blood comes out in the urine, and therefore the cells are not getting their essential energy and growth requirements. Again, it's always affecting the cells. Everything is about the cell. So the main things here is vegetable juices, all leafy greens, Brussels sprouts, parsley. These are like the key things. I would say super greens. If you can find a super green package that has your super greens in it, that would be the way to go. Fruit juices, none. And that's just to be on the safe side. But for here, for the herbs, those are not the ones I would use here. I could use garlic. Bitter melon is what I would use here. And also the string beans. The string beans are really, really good. That is like insulin. If you juice string beans and you drink the juice, if the person that is diabetic drinks that juice, it's as if they're getting like an insulin shot. So it's very, very good, very good. We've had, in one of our sessions this time around, we had a lady that was taking 30 units of insulin in the morning and 20 units in the evening. And she went and she started a vegetarian diet because her daughter, I saw in February, and her daughter is doing a residency for being a doctor, a medical doctor. And so one of her professors noticed that she had a thyroid issue and told her to go get the surgery done. And another lady that was as a guest at our thing in January, February, was telling the girl she needs to come. You need to come. You're overworking. Come. And she says, I can't. We just don't have enough staff. We don't have enough people to see the patients. And so then finally she says, okay, I'll ask, but I don't think I'm going to get it because we're too understaffed. Well, what do you think God did by prayer? That lady prayed for her, and she went to ask her supervisor if she could go and take a break, because all of her patients were saying, you need a break. You're working for us so much, and you're so good at helping us, but you need a break too. And so she asked, and the lady said, oh, instead of 2 days, take 3. So she was able to go for the last 3 days of our session. And that got her to change her diet. She never had the surgery for her thyroid. And so she got on a good vegetarian, whole plant-based diet. And what do you think happened then? Her mother, suffering from diabetes, even having edema in her legs, taking all that insulin, her mother started to be vegan for 1 month before they came. So those 2 weeks while they were there, because the girl went through the training, and her mother was just there. She sat in on some of the training, but she actually came to be a guest for the second week, or the last week. So that was like 3 weeks. We're there for 3 weeks. So those 2 weeks while she was eating, we got the, insulin level was like, I think 20 in the morning and 10 in the evening. And then, so that was like almost half. And then now when we finished, she was only on 15 units in the morning, and that was all. And probably right around now, she's probably about 5 units in the morning, I would think, if she stayed on the program, or maybe even off totally. So again, this is huge. Now the cinnamon called Ceylon, Ceylon, that's a particular type of cinnamon. So just not any cinnamon helps with diabetes. It has to be Ceylon. And if you don't get that kind, don't get any at all. Sometimes cinnamon can be an irritant to the stomach. I believe Ellen White talks about that. So just don't even use it at all, and you don't have to worry about it. But bitter melon is really good. One of the treatments that we use for people that are type 2 diabetics is you take bitter melon and you cut it up really good. You put it in warm water. You can put it in hot water, let it cool down to warm, and let the diabetic person put their feet in there for 30 minutes. Keep the water warm, and for 30 minutes. Within that period of time, they should be able to taste the bitter melon. So once they do that, you know that the therapy was good. And so that means it went throughout their whole system to kind of help break up that diabetic stuff that's going on and to help. So so they can have bitter melon, whether it's cooked, whether it's raw, put in salads and stuff like that as well. And all leafy greens. I would say big time salads, salad. They need a lot of salads, raw foods, not steamed, but raw, right? So another thing is high fiber, high complex carbohydrate diet. This is going to reduce that insulin and lowers the fat levels. Another thing too is a half a cup of beans at every single meal will also help with that blood sugar. Instead of spiking, it'll help it to be more normal. So weight control is crucial factor 2, mainly for non-insulin dependent diabetes. Another thing that we have found is that chromium picolinate is one essential thing that they should probably have as a supplement because they're deficient in it. Low protein diet, meaning less than 40 grams per day. People have thought that we need so much protein. You don't need that much protein. You really don't. Too much protein is not good. A lot of people eat what? You guys eat a lot of soy? You guys eat a lot of soy here? Soy products, soybeans, tofu, stuff like that. So in some cases, people would say that tofu is not good, but I've seen a lot of cases where tofu is good for people with cancer anyway. So again, protein, about 40 grams per day. Other things that you should know is avoid large amounts of niacin, and hydrotherapy, massage, and herbs and diet are the key things that we are to use. You can see these bathtubs here. These are really deep bathtubs for doing hydrotherapy treatments, but I don't think I would go extremely hot with people that are diabetic. One of the best and safest things is probably giving them a steam bath, like a Russian steam. Okay, any questions about diabetes? If not, we can go to heart disease. So things about heart disease, let me see if I got anything here.
Fried foods.
Okay. There is hope. One of the components required for a healthy heart is healthy circulation. It keeps the heart beating, moving blood, and providing nutrients to live and preventive disease. Foods that are really good is flaxseed. And yeah, when it comes to diabetes, I forgot to add that. Flaxseed and chia ground up, 1 tablespoon of each for every single meal. And they can also take it in water for a third meal, which is not even a meal at all. And that'll help also with the blood sugar to be at the right thing. For heart issues, flaxseed, oatmeal, black or kidney beans are very good. Almonds, walnuts, tofu, brown rice, carrots, spinach, broccoli, sweet potatoes, almonds. I put walnuts in there again. Asparagus, oranges, cantaloupe, and papaya. Most of those things you can probably find here. I don't know about the blueberries, but yeah, most of those things you can. So those things would be great foods to really base a lot of that for them. Vegetable juicing, all leafy greens, carrots, and onions. For fruit juices, apples, apricot, bananas, cantaloupe, papaya, and red grapes. Very, very good. Apples are really good. Carrots are not there. Herbs, cayenne, garlic, hawthorn berries are key here. Hawthorn berries, I would say, are probably key, plus hibiscus. So hawthorn berries is for the heart. Anything that's going to do anything with the heart, anything with the blood, I would say red clover, because it cleanses the blood. And then cayenne keeps the blood thin. So does garlic. It helps to thin the blood, so then that way people don't have issues with blood clots and stuff like that. Again, flaxseed oil is really good, and psyllium keeps them pretty much regular for their BMs, bowel movements. Drink only steam distilled water, and the difference between steam distilled is that there's nothing in it, meaning there's no vitamins, no minerals, no nothing. This Nature's Spring water, I'm not for sure, does it have any vitamins in it? Because sometimes you go to the store and they have bottles like from Sam's Club or whatever, and it will say their brand with extra vitamins or minerals in it. Well, if you drink that on an empty stomach, for some people that really makes the upset stomach. So you have to be very careful with what you're drinking too. This is pretty much natural. That's why it's Nature's Spring water, probably. That's why it's called that. Exercise, do something that you enjoy. There are studies that have been done on exercise that if you, like, okay, I'll give you a classic example I saw this study and research. I had a guy come to my clinic. He said his primary doctor told him that he needs to exercise more and told him to get on that, what's that thing you walk on?
Treadmill?
Yeah, treadmill. That he needs to do 30 minutes on the treadmill every day, 5 days a week. He says, I hate that thing. And he has high blood pressure. I said, if you want to get a prescription from me, I'm going to give you a prescription to play golf 3 times a week. Oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. Because that's what he loves to do. Research says that if you do an exercise that you don't like, it's not going to help you.
Oh.
So he started playing more golf, and he went back to the other doctor, and the doctor checked his blood pressure and everything. He says, man, you're doing great. And you know what? The doctor said, see, I told you walking on that treadmill would help you. He's like, that ain't going to help me. It's the golf. Because he'd been walking on that treadmill for how long, and it wasn't doing anything. And so he started playing his golf, and he got better results. So whatever type of exercise that you like to do, whether it be swimming, whether it be playing volleyball, whatever it is, maybe bowling. I don't know, do you guys bowl here?
Yeah, we have. It's expensive.
Not card playing though, but something, maybe bike riding. Maybe start a bike riding group or a walking group or something like that. Even in my clinic, I started a walking group early in the morning at 7 o'clock. I had them meet me at the mall, because the mall is open for walkers but closed for the stores. So I'd bring in some juice that I just freshly juiced and then I'd have a little paper with our morning worship. I'd go over that, pray with them. If they have any concerns about anything, get that out of the way, drink our little juice, and we went for like a half an hour walk all over the mall. And then we had a little prayer, and then we separated for that day. We did that, and let me tell you that I had what, 2 non-Adventists, and they both became Adventists.
Oh, man.
So I mean, this is part of ministry. This is about living our life the way God would have us to live, so we can be a testimony. We can be an example, a model. And so those are good things. Another thing, if people are taking anticoagulant therapy, like blood thinning drugs, they should not take vitamin K or even alfalfa. So many people are like, oh, what's wrong with alfalfa? That's just a normal thing. Well, what about alfalfa sprouts? Well, that might be a little bit different, but still, alfalfa, just take it out because it's high in vitamin K, so you don't want that, right? So to enhance this effect, include wheat germ, vitamin E, soybeans, lecithin, sunflower seeds to the diet. So that'll be very helpful. And those things are important. Then other things is avocados are high in amino acids like L-arginine. And this is a compound enhances the action of nitric oxide. And what does nitric oxide do? It helps enable blood vessels to dilate. So it constricts and it dilates. And that's exactly what you're going to learn about tomorrow with the hydrotherapy, that when you're using hot and cold, hot increases your blood vessels to expand 40% more for your blood flow. And then when you use the cold, it constricts them. So then that way the blood is flowing. Because when you go hot, cold, that's moving the blood through. If you want to have fast healing, do hydrotherapy of hot and cold, hot and cold. So that's like
Does
really
that consider hot and cold shower?
You can do a hot and cold shower. I've had a lot of people do, and when you're doing those hot and cold showers, it's 3 minutes hot, 30 seconds cold.
Oh.
3 minutes hot, 30 seconds cold. Do it 3 times. If you can do that, you're going to get everything going. And most people that do that, they don't get sick because they're also eating good. Other things are your berries. That's probably a little hard to get here. Bilberry, blackberries, blackcurrants, blueberries, cherries, cranberries, red raspberries. Can you get those things here?
Expensive.
We can buy that one in.
That's expensive.
So this is the thing, right?
Yes.
What color do we see here? We see black, we see red, we see
Violet.
like a blue, right? So those colors would be key things. You know what's really good? Bell peppers. Bell peppers come in orange, yellow, and red, and green. So there's 3 colors right there. Boom. And the best one that has the most vitamin C, guess which one it is?
Red.
Green.
The orange or the yellow? One of those 2. I have a video on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok on that information. So more things that we would do is veggies that mimic the action of prescription drugs that are called calcium channel blockers are fennel, parsley, celery, and a Chinese herb called angelica. So instead of taking those drugs that are like the calcium channel blockers, you give them fennel, parsley, and celery. Right? Is this blood pressure? No, it's heart disease. Okay, so with these drugs, these are just some of the normal drugs that we would use, and all these do is they reduce the blood pressure and increases the blood flow. If you want a blood thinner, garlic is your blood thinner. But another thing is, if someone has high blood pressure, I don't know, did I get to that one yet? Oh, that's coming next. So make sure you eat beans. They're high in fiber, which reduces blood levels of cholesterol and contributes to maintaining a healthful weight, which is vital to reducing the risk of heart disease or managing your existing heart condition. So let's go to blood pressure. This is a big key here too. Normal blood pressure is 120/80. And so blood pressure is the force of blood pushing against the walls of the arteries as the heart pumps the blood. And then if the pressure rises or stays high over time, it can actually damage the body in many ways. The systolic is the top number, and that's when the heart contracts and pumps the blood through the arteries. And the lower number, which is diastolic, is when the heart relaxes after the contraction. So why are these numbers important? Because when you have elevation of either one of these numbers, it increases the risk of developing heart or cardiac disease, kidney, renal failure or disease, and hardening of the arteries. And so you can have eye damage, stroke. These are termed end organ damage, because damage to these organs is the end result of a chronic, which is long-term duration of high blood pressure. They call this the silent killer, right? And so blood pressure doesn't stay the same all the time. It lowers as you sleep, and it rises when you wake up. It rises when you're excited, nervous, or active. And there is such a thing called white coat syndrome. I try not to wear a white coat too much, because people, when they have this mind, I gotta go see the doctor, they get worried, and then their blood pressure goes high. And so I just talk to people and talk to them and say, oh, blah, blah, get them relaxed, so then that way they're not nervous, and then I do their blood pressure, and it's great. So here it is. Pre-hypertension is 120 to 139 over 80 to 89. So even 120 over 80 could be pre-hypertension. Stage 1 is when it's 140 to 159 over 90 to 98. So it could be 159 over 90 or 159 over 98. Stage 2 is 160 or higher over 100 or higher. Not a good thing. So if they have diabetes or chronic kidney disease, high blood pressure is defined as 130 over 80 or higher. So if they have any one of those other things and their blood pressure gets to be like that, that means they got that too. Usually a lot of these diseases go together. Next thing is vegetable juicing, all leafy greens, very key. Greens are important. Carrots, onions, beets, potatoes, broccoli, celery. So if you want to make a good green drink or a good drink for vegetables, I would say get some good greens, carrots, beets, and celery. That'd be very good. Fruit juices, blueberries, apples, apricots, bananas, cantaloupe, papaya, and red grapes. So what do we got? We've got papaya. Use the papaya and the bananas. Again, for herbs, hawthorn berry, hibiscus, garlic, cayenne, turmeric, aloe vera, and oregano. Very, very good for heart issues versus high blood pressure. Other things you can use is Chinese or Korean ginseng. This will affect the use of heart medication like Digitalis. May need medical supervision if they do use that, so probably don't even use it. If taking blood thinner, avoid vitamin K again and alfalfa, because you want to make sure that you're controlling that. So wheat germ, vitamin E, soybeans, lecithin, and sunflower seeds are very good for the diet. The last thing is high cholesterol. So things that we need to look at when it comes to high cholesterol is the LDL. Do you know what the LDL and the HDL is? Which one's good and which one's bad? Which one's lousy and which one's healthy? That way you'll know. Lousy starts with an L and healthy starts with an H. So when we're looking at cholesterol levels, the LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, is not good. The HDL is the healthy cholesterol. So for men, they need to be 40 or higher when it comes to the HDL. For women, they need to be 50 or higher when it comes to HDL. Tomorrow morning when we check our cholesterol and our glucose levels, we will check to see where we're at. And by the end of the program, we can check you again. So what is cholesterol? It's a waxy, fat-like substance found in all cells of the body. However, cholesterol in the body makes up hormones, vitamin D, and substances that help you digest your food. Cholesterol is important. There's good cholesterol. So the body makes cholesterol, and it's found in some of the foods that we eat. It's better for your body to make it instead of eating the foods that have it. What happens with the cholesterol is it travels through the body in your bloodstream in small packages called lipoproteins, which is made up of fat inside and protein on the outside. So the fat on the inside with the protein encasing it is traveling through your blood vessels. So another thing is the LDL, which is the low density lipoproteins. The HDL is the high density lipoproteins. And you need healthy levels for both. The LDL is considered bad, the HDL is considered good. I don't think you need any more than that, that's probably good enough. The condition, when you have too much cholesterol in the blood, there's no signs or symptoms. People don't even know that these levels are high. That's the thing. There's no sign of high cholesterol. When you have high blood cholesterol, greater chance of getting coronary heart disease, which is a plaque buildup from fat, calcium, and cholesterol and other substances that are in the blood, better known as, or I can't say the word, atherosclerosis, which is hardening of the arteries. Again,